Man, you were talking about Wolfman. Wow, all right.
Intrigue, said the monkey to the cat as he picked up his drum, put on his storytelling hat. As the drum began to play, the night replaced the day, and all the creatures gathered round to hear what the monkey had to say. And he said, once upon a time, once upon a time, once upon a time. Once beside a time, once above a time, once below a time. Once inside a time, before time was stretched on the rack of infinite progress, murdered by priests and accountants, cut into manageable pieces, and arranged neatly around the face of the clock. There was a mountain in the east. And on that mountain there was a tribe, there was a troop of monkeys. And in that troop of monkeys there was a monkey born named Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong grew up, and he looked at his monkey life, and he said, no, not good enough. I want more. So he raised an army, and he went out, and he conquered the world, and declared himself the king of all the monkeys. He looked down at his monkey kingdom, and he said, no, not good enough. I need more. So he went to a Taoist master, and he asked the master to teach him the secrets of immortality and transformation. And he learned the secrets of immortality and transformation, and he looked at the power that he had gained in his kingdom and his monkey life, and he said, no, not good enough, I need more. So Sun Wukong, the monkey king, went out and he found other sages and mages and sorcerers to teach him all the powers that are available in the world. And he gained the ability to shrink down to the size of a sand flea, the ability to expand himself to the size of the cosmos. And he could somersault 37,000 miles in a single leap and roll. He acquired a magic staff that weighed 17,500 pounds and obeyed the commands of his mind. And he could shrink it down to fit it behind his ear, or he could grow it up to hold up the heavens. And he already had one form of immortality, but that wasn't enough, so he went out and he found 6 more. One he gained by going into the underworld and stealing some magic peaches and eating them. One he gained by sneaking into death's lair and erasing his name from the book of death. And I don't know how he gained all of his immortalities, but the final one, the 7th, he gained by breaking into heaven itself, stealing an elixir of immortality and drinking it. So now he looked down at all of his power, and he realized he had become the most powerful being in the universe. Finally, he said something different. He did not say he was satisfied. What he said was, I am a monkey no longer. I have become a god. So he went to heaven through the front door this time, and he went to the throne room of the Jade Emperor who ruled over heaven. And he said to the Jade Emperor, I demand to be made a god. And the Jade Emperor thought about this for one eternity. And surprisingly enough, after thinking about it for an eternity, he said, okay, you can be a god, why not? And you and I know, and the Jade Emperor certainly thought, that for a monkey, any monkey, even a monkey as impressive as Sun Wukong, to be declared a god is a great honor. However, he was put at the fighting all the gods. He started winning. Now, the Jade Emperor had been the most powerful being in the universe until the Monkey King came along. But that wasn't why he was the Emperor of Heaven. In addition to being the most powerful, he was also wise and benevolent. He had many virtues. And he didn't normally solve his problems with brute force. He usually used subtlety and diplomacy and wisdom. But he had always had brute force to fall back on, until now. And in spite of being the Emperor of the universe, he had the sense and the humility to know when he was in trouble and when he needed to ask for help. But this is a problem, because there were no gods that could defeat the Monkey King, and there were no beasts that could defeat the Monkey King. So where was the Jade Emperor going to look for help? He looked between the realms of the beast and the gods, and he found mankind. And among the men, the wisest of them, Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha. So he went to the Buddha and he said, Buddha, I got a monkey problem. And he explained everything that had happened with Sun Wukong, the Monkey King. And Buddha smiled his little half smile that makes you think that he's in on the great cosmic joke that none of us have heard. And he said, go ahead, send the Monkey King to me. Tell him I have a challenge that he will not be able to beat. When the Monkey King heard this, he laughed and laughed until tears rolled down his fuzzy cheeks. He said, I'm more powerful than all the gods, and more powerful than all the beasts. What is a man going to challenge me with? So he rolled up on the Buddha. He rolled up with thunder, with lightning, with great displays of power and strength and dazzlements that had never been seen before, because they had never existed before the Monkey King invented them on the spot. But the Buddha, he had already sat beneath the Bodhi tree. He had already attained enlightenment. In order to do that, he had to sit there in equanimity as Mara threw everything at him that the universe could throw at a person. So it wasn't his first time seeing wonderful, terrible, horrible, awesome, beautiful, terrifying things that he had never seen before. And he sat there with this little half smile that lets you know that he's in on the great cosmic joke that none of us understand. And he was silent and he was still. And in that stillness and silence, in the presence of the Buddha, even the great and powerful Sun Wukong, the Monkey King, eventually exhausted himself. And in the silent presence of the Buddha, he said, Sid, I hear you have a challenge for me. And the Buddha said, oh, great and powerful Sun Wukong, the Monkey King, I know about your ability to shrink and to grow, and your transformations, and your 7 kinds of immortality, your magic stick. But I have a challenge for you, and I don't think you can beat it. If you were to shrink down and sit inside of my palm, I don't think you would be able to escape with a single somersault. The Monkey King laughed again. He knew he could somersault 37,000 miles in a single leap and roll. A man's palm, 6 inches across? I'm pretty sure I can handle this. So he shrank down and jumped inside the Buddha's palm. He shrank down to the size of a sand flea, but he really wanted to show off, so he shrank down some more until he was the size of a virus particle. And then he really strained his powers, and he shrank down so far that a virus would have seemed like the moon in comparison to him. And then he gathered his strength in his legs and in his loins, and he leapt like he'd never leapt before, faster than the speed of light, farther than he'd ever leapt. A leap that had never been seen before and has never been seen since. He leapt all the way to the edge. And at the edge, he found the pillars that hold up heaven. And to prove that he had been there, marked his territory like a dog. And then he smiled, a full smile, a smug smile. And without all the demonstrations and the strain, he closed his eyes and with a simple wish and a thought, peered back before the Buddha. And he said, Sid, if you can make it to the edge of the universe, you'll find on the columns that I've marked it and that I was there first. And the Buddha said, do you mean this mark on my middle finger? It says Sun Wukong, Monkey King, greatest being in the universe, sage equal to heaven was here, and this faint odor of urine on my middle finger. Because you see, the Sun Wukong had not escaped the Buddha's palm. He had not made it to the edge of the universe, but simply the edge of the Buddha's palm, and the columns he saw were the Buddha's fingers. And as he made that realization, too slow to escape, the Buddha turned his hand upside down, and his hand became a mountain, and the monkey was trapped beneath the mountain for 500 years. This was not a punishment. This was the Buddha giving the monkey his karma and, simultaneously, as it often is with karma, exactly what he needed for his next phase of evolution. 500 years to contemplate, 500 years to meditate, to gain the wisdom equal to his power. And that is what and what not I know about Sun